All right, hello everybody. I hope you all are doing well. Today I thought we could do a plan with me video. I am in the last kind of month of my Hobonichi spring cousin. I've been doing a little bit of experimenting in here. If you are a regular viewer of mine, you may have seen in some of my previous weeklies, let me find a good one. This was the first week that I officially started doing horizontal daily little sections. I've really been enjoying this. I have a little calendar that I made over here on the left side that shows me specific events and appointments because I use the majority or the entirety of these columns right here just for daily journaling. And so I needed a space to put appointments, my personal to-dos, and then my work to-dos. And so this layout has been working really well. This was the first week that I did some experimenting. This was the second week, kind of same thing. I think this is actually one of my favorite weeklies that I've ever done in my book. Here's another one. And then there's this guy. This is a Tomitaro Makino postcard that I laminated, kind of like as a little bookmark, but I just stick him right here for now. And then this was last week. So I kind of went back to vertical just because I was in the mood for vertical. And then this week I ended up having to cover up. A few months back, I actually ended up going to these last weeklies of mine and just experimenting and writing in here because I didn't think I was actually going to be in this book until March. I had to cover up all that writing I did. So I actually just cut out some of the blank graph papers and I glued them in here. So I figured this week I could just go kind of crazy and really experiment with my layout. So for this week, I did it all horizontal. There's technically 8 rows on this page. And so this one, I just kind of wrote about the layout in general. And then this is my Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, etc. I wanted to experiment a little more and set up next week's layout with you guys. Lately, a lot of YouTubers I watch have been moving into ring planners. And I tried ring planners back in, what was it, like June, when I was not in my cousin. I like to do a lot of art in my book, and I thought that customization would work really well for me, and I just found out I am not a rings girly. But because it seems like everyone is moving into their rings right now, and I am like starting to get to the very last of my book, I'm starting to get like itchy. When I see everyone else in rings, it just makes me want to think outside the box a little bit and be a little bit more creative, and this kind of sparked that for me. So I wanted to carry that over and then use these last 3 or 4 weeks of my cousin to really go crazy and see what I like and see, you know, what sticks. And so I actually did a mock version of the layout we're gonna set up today, which is this guy. So I wanted to try these little like quad spaces here on the right side, and then the horizontal on the left with my to-dos and my little event calendar. And I really like how this looks. I didn't put any art on this page. Normally I would put some sort of visual on my weeklies just because it keeps me a little bit more engaged and like interested. But I just wanted to see how this looked overall and see if I liked it. So this is what we're gonna set up today. So we're just gonna go ahead and get started. My 3 most important tools when it comes to changing the layout of the Hobonichi cousin is gonna be a pencil board, my Winsor and Newton .3 pen, which is in a cool gray color. So it's pretty similar to the print that is in the Hobonichi. And then my white Posca paint pen. To start, we're actually just gonna start whiting out some of these lines. So I know that I need to white out the 3 vertical lines on this side, or at least the 2 vertical lines, and then I'm just gonna white out these numbers right here just to make it look a little bit cleaner. So I really like the Posca pen, mainly because it is really thin. I don't find that it crinkles the paper. It doesn't bleed through to the other side. Color matching is pretty close. When you tear out a page and just look at it like this, you can probably see the white paint, but when the pages are stacked on top of each other, it kind of looks like an exact match, which is really nice. And I just like the Posca pen in general because you can be messy and quick with it, and it's not really don't know, there's a lot of forgiveness with this pen. It's not going to completely cover these lines, which is actually nice because then it blends in with the rest of the grid. But I think it's just like a really good alternative. So that is our left page. Now we're just gonna stick with the Posca pen. This is the right page that we're gonna do. So I basically just need to white out these two right here, because this is my halfway line, and then I will white out these lines right here. So I'm just gonna go from left to right. This is not something I think I'm going to do every week in my book. I like having this option to change the layout when I want to, and then if I don't want to, my book already has a predetermined layout, so I don't have to put in the effort in the weeks that I'm not feeling like it. That is what the pages look like when they are pretty much whited out, right? Is that the right way to say that? While this one is drying, we're gonna start with this left page. I believe it is 9 squares down for each of these rows. And then this final one I believe is 10. But I'm just gonna go ahead and turn this and follow it like this, which is probably not the best way to do this, but just so it's easy for you guys to see. Okay, there is our third line. So then this is going to be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. This is going to be my Alistair to-do method. And then I am actually going to elongate this a little. So instead of having 3 rows per day, I think I'm going to give myself 4. I'm actually going to turn it this way. So this is going to be Monday. So here we have Monday through Saturday on here. So whenever I have any doctor's appointments, coffee dates, those will go in here just so I have a weekly overview. Now we're gonna get into the right, which is pretty easy because I just need to draw one horizontal line, which is at number 17. So I'm just gonna turn this and find 17. And we're gonna draw this halfway line. And then we're good to go. This is essentially the setup for the layout. I'm just gonna write in the days of the week right here. So we have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And then go ahead and write in our to-do line. I don't know if you guys can see, I cut this bottom portion right here, I cut in our like Frankenstein cousin that we have at home that we don't use, and I glued them on top because this was one of the pages where I had writing down here and I needed to cover it up. So you might see pulling up on the page right here, but I'm just gonna move this down. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Okay, and then I just like to draw a line just so I can separate my task. Okay, so that is essentially all I need to do for the actual layout. And then once this is filled out with my handwriting and my to-dos, it's going to look something like this. I think I want to draw something in here. Usually when I do art or just any sort of visual in my weekly spreads, I like to make them, I don't know, pretty low effort. Sometimes I will go a little bit more detailed and spend a little bit more time with them, but lately I've been investing a lot of like my creative motivation or my like creative juices into my daily pages. And so I don't know, I've been really liking my daily pages lately. So these have been a little bit more simple, but I was wanting to draw a heart. Couldn't tell you why, I just think they look kind of cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and just sketch one really quick, and then I'll go over it with pen. I think I want it to be right here. And this is not gonna be the most accurate heart drawing you've ever seen, so please forgive me if this is not very proportionally correct. I don't wanna overthink it, because if I spend too much time on this, I will get frustrated with myself and overthink it, and that is something I am trying to get better at. And I am trying just to do any sort of art or just any sort of creative outlet just for the sake of creation and just kind of like the meditation that is art. I'm trying not to like harp on myself too much about the actual skill. And then this needs to have some sort of lump in the back, and then we got these two guys. It needs to be just a little bit longer. Not that not that lumpy. I still think this needs to be a little bit longer. Yeah, I feel like this is starting to look less and less like a heart. Okay, cool. I think I'm happy with that. We're just gonna keep it like that because the more I touch it, the more I'm gonna end up making it slowly turn into something else. To sketch this out, I'm actually gonna use my Pigma Micron pens. I like these because they have a variety of like sizes, but they are water resistant. So if I ever wanted to go over this with watercolors or markers or anything, the pen's not gonna bleed or the ink's not gonna bleed. I think I'm just gonna keep this kind of like scratchy looking. I kind of like having the pencil underneath the Micron too, so I might just leave it and I might not erase it. I also like how these pens do really clean, scratchy lines, if that makes sense. I also like doing drawings like this because it allows you to make mistakes and they look intentional. I don't know, it takes a little bit of the pressure off, I think, of perfectionism in your planner and making mistakes. And I like doing this kind of art because it looks like it was done on purpose. There's nothing necessarily perfect about this drawing, but it looks like it was meant to be scratchy, so when I do make mistakes, it just, I don't know, it fits a little better. I think we're just gonna keep it there. So that is essentially all I'm gonna do for next week's setup. Pretty easy, pretty simple and quick. If you guys like these layout changes, I'd love to experiment a little bit more with this. I have a lot of ideas and I've just been trying new things and playing around in my book, and so these next couple of weeks are the weeks where I'm really just gonna push the envelope a little bit, I think. So thank you guys so much for being here, and I will see you in the next video.